Would you believe me if I told you that on April 6, 2024, Xiaomi turned 14? 14 years ago, the company was founded and they've been celebrating their anniversary with a fan festival since 2012. And this year, they're releasing a custom edition of the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G to commemorate this. And of course, not only is it unique in the color, it has some unique emblems on it, some unique features and extra perks inside of the box. And not only that, the top specification when it comes down to the 13 Pro Plus 5G. This is TK. We're going to go ahead and unbox it and check out all of the cool features that come with this Fan Festival special edition device. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. What we have in front of us is the actual box. As you notice, we are already looking at not only a custom edition on the back, but also a very nice color. This is called the Mystic Silver color, and it is going to be the only color available for this collaboration. So again, Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, and even the box will show us that obviously this is a Fan Festival edition, specifically a very custom edition for 2024. Included in the box, we do have the Fan Festival 2024 custom stickers that are only available in this edition. We do have a case, of course, a 120 watt charger that enables us to charge. Let's go let it focus. Charge our device very, very fast. We still have that 5000 milliampere battery that is built in here. Of course, the USB-A to USB-C cable to be able to transfer and of course, charge up our device. The color that we have here is a Mystic Silver color. We have that beautiful, nice emblem on the back. As you see here, it is very, very nice and very reactive to the light, depending on how the light hits it. It is a 5G enabled device supporting 2 SIM cards. We do have the 200 megapixel main camera on the back with OIS, an 8 megapixel camera that's going to be our ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel camera that's going to be our macro lens. Dual tone LED flash, and of course we have the Redmi name here. This is the 13 Pro Plus 5G. We have 12 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of internal storage, and of course all of this is going to be powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Ultra. On the front, we still have that beautiful, gorgeous display. This is a 6.67-inch 1.5K display running at the ability of going all the way up to 120 Hertz. Beautiful, clear, very nice, and very fast. The responsiveness that we have in here, very, very good. And one of the really nice things that I like about this is that the Note 13 Pro Plus 5G is going to be one of the first devices, Redmi devices, to get the Xiaomi HyperOS update. And this was updated very recently. So when I first received my device, it was running Android 13, and now it's running Android 14. There it is, the name, of course, we have 512 gigs of internal storage and Android 14 running in there. And as I mentioned to you guys before, we have the Dimensity 7200 Ultra. It's an octa-core processor running at a max speed of 2.8 gigahertz with 12 gigs of RAM that we have in there, and we have the ability of adding additional RAM from the internal storage. So technically we're running about the 18 gigs of RAM with that 512 gigs of internal storage. As you notice here on the back, it does come with a very custom special edition wallpaper made specifically for the Fan Festival. So that's something you're able to use. But one of the things that I really like about this is I'm still able to use live wallpapers, and this enables me to actually be able to enjoy my device a little bit more. Access to the app drawer from here. Swiping down in the center takes us directly into the search box. And of course, if we swipe from the right side, we have the toggles. These are the new toggles that we get with the Xiaomi HyperOS. On the left side, we have obviously notifications if you have access to them. Going into the settings, pretty much the same experience as we've seen before. You can log into your Xiaomi account, additional settings, your Google account. This does come preloaded with the Google Play services, so everything is pretty much ready to go. Now, let's talk a little bit about performance and of course, how is that 5G connectivity working? For me in the US here in Los Angeles, I am running it on T-Mobile, and I've been able to actually log in and catch 5G connectivity on here, about the 500 megabits down to 70 megabits up. And again, this will vary depending on where you are. The one thing I did want to test out was the ability of seeing how does the performance change going from Android 13, and this was the operating system I got it first, all the way up to Android 14. And what I like about it is there was no performance degradation. It still ran exactly the same. As you notice, it's basically within a couple of points, but essentially it was 1129 to 1114, and it went from 2675 to 2679 for the multi-core score. And of course, we're getting all of the benefits of having Xiaomi applications. The camera here runs very, very nice. Again, a 200 megapixel camera on the back. That's going to be the primary lens. And what I love about this is you're able to shoot 200 megapixel images. That little speck on the right side is not a bug. It actually is a bird that was flying, and I was able to catch that bird mid-flight and running that 200 megapixel image. But what I really like about it is the ability of actually zooming in. And as you can see here, I'm zooming into a very, very sharp, clear, zoomed in, and you could see the zoom in options. You're able to see even the little hairs all the way on the actual branches. It's very nice, and the ability of using that lens in here, very good. We have video capabilities up to 4K 30 on the main lens on the back. Basically anything with the ultra wide and the front facing camera, that 16 megapixel camera will be basically 1080p 60 frames per second at the max. We have that 200 megapixel photo, portrait, night mode, and of course more, and different options you're able to edit. Let's go outside real quick and do a quick sample of the front facing and the rear facing video recording on the 13 Pro Plus. Starting off with the front facing camera, 1080p 60 frames per second is going to be the maximum resolution. And one of the things that you want to keep in mind is that's just the general usage of what we get with Redmi devices. 1080p is going to be the best, but if we switch over to the main sensor on the back, we can go up to all the way to 4K. Now we're using the primary sensor on the back, the 200 megapixel camera, and 4K 30 frames per second is going to be the best resolution we can shoot here. We're able to drop down to 24 frames per second or even 1080p and of course get better frame rate, but the only thing is it's going to be available only on the main sensor. If we jump over to the ultra wide, the 8 megapixel, that can only do 1080p. So for the most part, your best camera is going to be the flagship camera that we have on here on this device. The 200 megapixel camera will give you the best video on the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus, and of course alongside with everything that we get as far as the features, this is going to be the best that we can do. Now as you notice, the video exposure seemed to be a little bit better when we're using the main sensor on the back, but the audio was definitely very nice. I like the functions that we have in here, and I also love the fact that on the main sensor on the back we have OIS, which enables us to get some really good footage and stable footage, as I was able to use it while I was traveling here in Los Angeles, even in Northern California when I took it with me on a family trip. But let's not go too far before talking about the speakers that we have in here. We have obviously going to be playing here our favorite song, Alex Scrindo Jumbo by NCS Release, and we're going to check out and see how the sound comes out of this device.
Jack it up.
As you heard there, the sound sounds pretty good. We do have those stereo speakers that are positioned on the bottom of the device as well as on the top. This is going to be separate from the top earpiece. We have a volume rocker and a power button on the right side, nothing on the left. On the top, we still have that IR blaster. I'll let it focus in a second. The speaker and of course one of the microphones for the camera. On the bottom, we have the dual tray SIM card that's positioned on the bottom, the microphone, USB-C, and of course that other speaker on the side. It's very nice and very clear, but let's talk a little bit about gaming and what we're able to do here. Again, we talked about performance, we talked about basically how the connectivity is going to be running, but let's see how the Call of Duty game plays on this device. Now, when it comes down to performance on Call of Duty, again, this is on low setting for the graphics. We're able to go all the way up to ultra, which means we're going to be able to play up to 90 frames per second on Call of Duty Mobile. Let's go ahead and close this here, and then we're going to go out. They do still have Game Turbo positioned on the left. We have that side launcher positioned here with a lot of the recent apps that we have installed. We're able to basically boost it, take a picture, do not disturb, record video, as I'm going to be showing you guys a clip from there, and of course voice changer, timer. But the best feature here is the ability of boosting, which means it reduces the amount of memory used and performance increases, well, gives the performance boost to the game, enabling us to reach better performance on this device. But let's not waste any time. Let's check out a quick sample of gaming on the Redmi 13 Pro Plus 5G. The really nice combination of the processor, the battery, and the fast charging, and of course the display technology that we have in here means that this device is intended to last with us for a very long time. I like that it's basically very nice and fast and basically snappy in most functions. It's not going to be the most powerful processor on the market. The 7200 Ultra is really intended to give you long battery life and great media consumption. So watching movies on this, listening to music, having phone calls, that's just going to be perfectly fine. And if you want to be able to create content with this, you have a nice, basically one of the largest sensors on the market, a 200 megapixel camera with OIS. So that means you're going to be getting some of the best performance from that camera, and that's where I recommend you staying, because if you're going to be shooting pictures, taking photos or videos, that's pretty much where you're going to be able to get that 4K capability as well as the best images, even if you want to go up to that 200 megapixel camera sensor there and shooting in full 200 megapixel images. And that enables you to print like large canvases, especially with good lighting. You're obviously going to get some of the best images there. So what I will probably say is, first and foremost, is thank you to Xiaomi for allowing me to check out the Fan Festival edition of the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. It's a long name, but it is absolutely a celebration of what Xiaomi stands for, and a certain group of people are actually going to be able to check out their main campus in China. And unfortunately, I'm not part of that group, but I do wish them the best, and I really hope that one day I'll be able to actually join and basically be part of that experience. And of course, make sure to check out the links in the description below to find out more about the Fan Festival, as well as if you'd like to pick up one of these devices for yourself and get that and have that special, not only memento, but nice performance, top spec Note 13 Pro Plus, and of course enjoy all of the HyperOS functionalities. Again, one of the first Redmi devices to get Android 14 with HyperOS from Xiaomi. Thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual, and I will see you in the next video.